picture perhaps at the end of a story when you first started? Do you see the end and the beginning? Christine, do you?
Well, for me, I actually read a quote recently that really resonated for me. Joan Didion once said that for her, grammar is a piano that she plays by ear. And I think that for me, endings, I play by ear. They're quite an instinctual thing. There's a moment when it just feels right, when there's food for thought left behind. And I think perhaps I can intellectualise it after the fact, but as it's happening, it's in your gut, I think. I don't know how people feel about that.
Yeah, I think that despite what I said earlier about this being a very close to the truth story that I've contributed here, the endings and the beginnings, but probably the endings especially, is where the craft of the story is most evident, and it's where the technical approach to construction, I think, is required. And maybe just to offer an example, I was interested when I read Barry's story that it ends with the words row upon row upon row. And yeah, my story ends with a similar sort of patterning of words. I will shine and shine and shine. And it's a little coincidence, but it's not really a coincidence because that kind of incantation, that repetition of threes, is one of the fundamental structures of composition. And what we're doing when we write stories is composing and arranging words on the page, as a painter does, elements on a canvas. And it's, you know, that frame you put around the picture, the part of the picture you choose to show and what to cut out, that's where the work of the craft comes in and is, you know, most required, I think.
Barry, before we come to you, I might just ask first, because I see that we're running out of time. If anyone has a burning question they would like to ask one of our three panellists, this is your big opportunity. I can't actually see anyone because of the lights. Has anyone got that? Yes?
One that occurs to me to comment on and ask a question, I guess, is in those very first sentences, couple of short paragraphs, you can picture a person and their personality. Barry's was a sharp, skeptical, not particularly neighbourly sort of a person who had a very strong point of view about the neighbour. And the other two writers had similar sort of strong personalities that came through. Is that part of the point of view that you have to create right from the beginning?
Anyone like to pick on?
Yeah, for me, definitely. For me, I love the openings of stories. Some of my favourite. In fact, getting back to sort of teaching people writing, I get them to go back through their favourite books and look at the opening sentences of what they are, and often they're incredible opening sentences that people come to me with. And I think if you're publishing a story or publishing a book, why wouldn't you make the opening fantastic? I mean, people, let's face it, it's hard to sell books. People are going to look at the front cover, maybe look at the back cover, and maybe open it up. And don't you want to make your first sentence absolutely killer and just go for it? So the opening sentence is like, is it 1984? I think the opening sentence is, it was a cold, clear day in April and the clocks were striking 13. I mean, what a fantastic, one of the most simple sentences. There's not, you know, what I call a $5 word in there. They're really all simple words. And then the last word you go, shit, what has happened? We're entering unknown territory here. And yet you did it so simply. So yeah, I think from the opening you've got to really get some sense of who is this person who's talking to me, or what's their situation. But at the same time, because every rule I give, I always give an exception. Don't give everything away. Leave some mystery, leave it a little bit open as well. So you've got to do a bit of give and take on that one.
Do you have any other questions?